The Kethmaran hunting fleet materialized at the edge of the Sol system with predatory precision. Commander Velthak's mandibles clicked in satisfaction as his bioscanners analyzed the third planet from the star. The readings were perfect: abundant water, oxygen-rich atmosphere, and most importantly, a species that registered as soft-bodied prey animals. "Look at them, Velthak," his lieutenant hissed, studying the tactical displays. "No natural weapons, no claws, no fangs, no armor plating. Their bones are hollow like bird creatures. These humans will make excellent livestock." The Kethmaran had dominated 17 star systems using this same methodology. Their xenobiologists were experts at identifying prey species, creatures, that could be harvested for sustenance or enslaved for labor. Humans fit the profile perfectly: bipedal, relatively small, with no visible natural defenses. Even their settlements seemed scattered and undefended. "Begin the harvest," Velthak commanded. The first wave of Kethmaran dropships descended toward major population centers. Each craft carried 50 warriors, apex predators standing 3 meters tall with razor-sharp claws and chitinous armor evolved over millions of years of hunting. They had never encountered significant resistance from a prey species. They landed in downtown Chicago expecting terrified animals, fleeing in panic. Instead, they found something else entirely. The humans didn't run. Within minutes of the first landing, the Kethmaran found themselves under coordinated fire from weapons that shouldn't have existed on a prey world. Explosive projectiles tore through their armor. Energy beams carved precise holes through their ranks. Vehicles that looked like simple transportation revealed hidden weapon systems. "Commander!" The lieutenant's voice crackled through the comm. "The prey animals are fighting back. They have military organization." But that was only the beginning. Captain Sarah Chen crouched behind the overturned police car, her rifle steady against her shoulder. Around her, civilians had transformed into something the Kethmaran couldn't comprehend: organized resistance. The accountant from the building across the street was now laying down covering fire with a hunting rifle. The teacher from the elementary school had turned her classroom into a medical triage center. The teenagers who had been playing basketball were now running ammunition to defensive positions. "Grandpa Joe's got the RPG working," someone shouted. Chen watched in amazement as the 70-year-old veteran, who had been feeding pigeons in Naitontino, the park an hour earlier, shouldered a rocket launcher with practiced ease. The projectile streaked across the plaza and punched through the hull of a Kethmaran dropship. This scene was repeating across the globe. The aliens had made a fundamental miscalculation. They had mistaken humans for typical prey animals. They hadn't realized they were attacking a species that had spent its entire evolutionary history as persistence hunters, a species that had climbed to the top of their food chain not through physical advantages, but through intelligence, adaptability, and an almost pathological refusal to quit. In the orbital command ship, Velthak stared at the incoming reports with growing horror. His ground forces weren't just facing resistance, they were being systematically destroyed. The humans seemed to materialize weapons from nowhere. Worse, they were learning Kethmaran tactics in real time and adapting their responses. "Sir, they're using our own technology against us," a technician reported. "Somehow they've managed to reverse engineer our plasma rifles in under 6 hours. "Impossible," Velthak snarled. "No prey species has ever—" His words were cut off, as proximity alarm screamed. Through the viewports he could see primitive human spacecraft approaching, vessels that had clearly been hastily converted from civilian purposes, but now bristled with improvised weapons. Dr. Elena Vasquez had been working in the International Space Station when the invasion began. Now, 12 hours later, she was piloting a fusion-powered cargo hauler that the Earth's combined space agencies had retrofitted with every piece of military hardware they could bolt onto it. "This is Luna Base," crackled a voice over the comm. "We've got 16 more mining rigs converted and ready for combat. The Mars colony is launching their fleet in 4 hours." Elena smiled grimly. The Kethmaran had expected to find isolated prey animals. Instead, they had stumbled into humanity's backyard and kicked over an anthill. Humans from Earth, Luna, Mars, The asteroid mining stations and deep space research outposts were all converging on the Sol system with whatever ships they could arm. The turning point came when the Kethmoran attempted their standard intimidation tactic, threatening to destroy major population centers unless the humans surrendered. They selected New York City and charged their orbital bombardment cannons. The response was not what they expected. Every human military installation on Earth, Luna, and Mars simultaneously targeted their ship. But more than that, civilian shipping, vessels, research stations, even amateur radio astronomers began transmitting targeting data. Within minutes, the Kethmoran command ship was painted by over 3,000 different targeting systems. "Tell your fleet," came a calm voice over the communication channel, identified as Secretary General Maria Santos of the United Nations, "that if you fire on our cities, every human installation in the solar system will open fire on you simultaneously. We may not have your technology, but we have something you apparently don't understand. We work together when threatened." For the first time in his military career, Commander Velthak found himself facing prey that had become predator. The final blow came from an unexpected source. Dr. Kim Nakamura, a microbiologist at the Tokyo Institute of Technology, had been studying the biological samples recovered from crashed Kethmoran ships. Within 18 hours, she had identified a vulnerability in their immune systems and weaponized a modified Earth virus. The Kethmoran, who had evolved in sterile environments as apex predators, had no resistance to Earth's biological warfare refined by 4 billion years of evolution in one of the galaxy's most hostile biological environments. As his fleet retreated in disorder, Velthak transmitted a final message to Kethmoran High Command. "Avoid the Sol system. The humans are not prey animals. They are something far more dangerous. They are survivors who have learned to cooperate. They turn everything into a weapon, including their own biology. We attacked sheep and found wolves." The message would be studied by xenobiologists across the galaxy for centuries to come, marking the first time a prey species had not only repelled a Kethmoran harvest fleet, but had done so within 24 hours of first contact. On Earth, humanity looked up at the stars with new understanding. They were not alone, and they were definitely not prey.